Welcome back to another episode of the Quantum Connection. We are so thankful you are here. This is the second episode of season two. We really,
Woohoo!
yeah, I know. We started off season two with a bang, really, with Dr. Stephanie Seneff. I have to say that episode is mind blowing. If you haven't listened to that episode yet, go take a look at it. But we want to start off with saying happy 2024. Happy New Year, wishing you health, happiness, and vitality this year. And I also want to just mention, how grateful we are for your support, having you as our listeners. Season one was a big success, and we're just really grateful that you're here and supporting the podcast and listening and helping us get our message out there, spreading the word of how we really achieve optimal health. And yeah, so thank you so much for being here. And just a reminder, like if you haven't subscribed to the podcast, we'd love if you did that. Hopefully if you're going to rate us, you give us a 5-star rating, and a written review really helps our podcast numbers grow, which is obviously the goal, because then we can share this free information, to more people. And that, of course, is the goal of the podcast, is to just get the information out there and help people lead happier, healthier lives. So,
Absolutely, Vanessa. Happy
yeah.
New Year, everybody. Thanks so much for having stuck around with us. And if you're new, showing up here, we have so many good things planned for this year, 2024. And please have a look at our last, however many, oh my goodness, 30 something episodes. I think we have 30. And we're in season 2 now, ready to rock and roll the quantum information for all of you to help support you in this coming year. And so we are going to do a year in review today, just kind of like, what we've learned from last year, some of the highlights of the top performing or top listened to podcasts from last year, and sort of see if we can put some like ideas around like, that's so interesting, because we want to really tailor what we're like presenting to you to what you want to hear. But also, like, we're human, and so we pick people too who really light us up and we're like, oh my god, this person sounds amazing. And I also like, Vanessa, that we do cover a variety of topics, so and with all in the quantum lens, right? So from homeopathy to what is this deal with our immune system, and our virus is actually a thing, and like, we're not necessarily taking sides on anything, because we're just educating and putting the information out there. And we want to like get your attention, pique your interest, help you to start diving into some of these issues and topics so that you can make your own informed decisions. And that's our goal. So that's where we're at. Yeah. And the last episode is a must listen to, because Dr. Stephanie Seneff, senior researcher at MIT, and been there for a long time, has a book called The Toxic Legacy. And everyone needs to know about glyphosate, which is the main ingredient in Roundup, the weed killer. And tons and billions and tons have been applied. The country that has had the most applied of this super toxic substance is the United States, and still being used today. And like, for example, I think so many people have celiac and wheat issues because they apply it right before they are ready to harvest the wheat, to like as a, I don't know, insecticide or whatever. And so it's just laden with that. And so we really want to think about how to support our whole bodies. And that's why we love the quantum biology perspective and circadian biology, because it really helps to optimize your detox pathways. And it's kind of like unavoidable nowadays. Like, we're going to have to focus on how to optimize our pathways in our communication systems in our bodies, so that our detox pathways are operating effectively. Because if you're constipated, that ain't a good thing.
No, you're not getting
You
rid
know
of
what I
it.
mean? Like, you got to get stuff flowing. If you're puffy in the morning, that's the whole point of our show, is to teach you how to help your body optimize its systems. One of the most important ones is, well, they're all important, but let's be honest, like, the detox at night. So anyway, you're in
Yes,
review.
yes. Yeah, you got to get your autophagy and apoptosis going every night. That is one of the most important things. But a lot of people, when just because you brought up detox, and I just love to talk about that, like they're like, oh, I'm gonna go do like a cleanse, or I've got to go do this or that. Like, so when we say detox, that's not what Heather means. She means that by optimizing your lifestyle and really optimizing your circadian biology, that is how you optimize your detox pathways and detox capabilities. So I love that. And yeah, the episode with Dr. Seneff was amazing. And I do want to say too, is that I know we recommended there, make sure you get certified organic, super important. But, I've seen some things, Heather, and I'm curious your thoughts on this as recently, is that, and I did feel this for a long time, is that sometimes even certified organic from the food store is not even, can still have some levels of glyphosate in it and stuff like that. So that's the reason why I promote going to local regenerative farmers where you actually can talk to the farmers and say, hey, do you inject your cows with, vaccines and jabs and, antibiotics? And do you spray glyphosate and do you spray other, pesticides and toxins? So it's like, that would be the gold standard. And I know everybody can't do that, but I do think that's important to bring up because I think getting back to this local farm and regenerative farmers is really, the way that we can, another way that we can really, really up level our health because then for sure the quality that you're getting. So just want to bring that out there.
Oh, that's profoundly important, Vanessa. Like it seems so trite, like, oh, seasonal local. It's actually everything, right? It's about food security, it's about food safety, it's about developing that relationship with the people who grow your food, which is actually so
Yeah.
nourishing on so many levels. And it's the way that we all should strive to be. Now, is it like everyone's going to be able to do this if they live in a really urban environment? Well, they bring the food into the cities. You can still go to the farmers markets. That's the best place to
Yeah.
go. Look online and just, Google local farmers markets in my area or whatever. And you're going to find great organizations and websites that'll give you some pointers, either whether you're going to go to the farmer's market or go to the farm or ranch directly, which I love. Like field trip, hello, it always makes me so excited. One time in Carmel Valley here in California where I'm at, I bought like a cow share, and it was this beautiful family, and they had this one cow, and everyone was getting milk from this one cow. And so I went out there once to see them and their one cow operation, and they were just so lovely.
That
And
is so cool.
I know, right? And then they
One
moved, and I was like heartbroken. I'm like, no, you can't move because I'm drinking your cow milk. But this is a whole nother hot topic, the raw milk, right? Because
Oh
recently,
yeah.
for people who
Yes, let's
don't
talk about that.
know, let's talk about that, Vanessa. Because for people who don't
Mhm.
know, there's a lot of myths about health that we try to shed
Bust.
light on why they're not true. And one of them, like there's sunlight and there's a whole bunch, but one of them is about dairy and the whole controversy about raw milk, which is
Mhm.
a bunch of horseshit that it's bad for you. It's actually much higher standards than pasteurized milk because pasteurized milk can get away with higher bacteria content because they're going to cook it. And they're like, it doesn't matter, we're going to cook it. So you're basically drinking milk that's dead with who knows what in it, right? All kinds of gross dead pathogens, which
And
could.
can I interrupt you and say why it's dead? It's dead because it's missing all of the beneficial bacteria that's supposed to be there, right? Because I think not a lot of people understand that is because when you actually heat it up and you pasteurize it, you're actually killing all of the beneficial bacteria that was there. So now it's a dead food that doesn't really offer you a lot of nutritional value. So it's missing all of that beneficial bacteria. So I just want to remind people of that because that's what makes raw milk a superfood is that it provides you with the beneficial bacteria that we need in our gut microbiome.
Yeah, and it's different from vegetables. Like vegetables have a totally
Yeah.
different composition. Like I don't do well at all with raw vegetables because I don't have the digestive oomph to digest them, and many people don't. So milk is this different kind of food where you don't need to cook it. And in fact, it makes it not toxic, but it makes it like harder on us to digest the milk proteins because it denatures them. And so raw milk is definitely a superfood, amazing. And if you have to like buy it labeled as pet food, go do it.
Mine says pet food. It says for
Luckily,
cats and dogs.
like one of the good things about California, there's many bad things, but is that it's actually you can buy it legally here. So, and there's ways to order it online. I do highly recommend you guys look at it, but there's so much fear around it because I think there's been a big propaganda against raw milk because it is so freaking healing, and there's been a lot of just promoting it as some kind of ad thing in the media, which is like done a big disservice to people's health. And I would go to any like I don't always do a lot of dairy because sometimes even raw milk like gives me a little bit of issues, but I notice the longer I drink it, the more I can digest it more easily.
Yes, because you're
Right?
building the enzymes is what's happening. You're building the enzymes back up. So when we take it out, we lose the enzymes to digest it. So then when you eat it, you bring them back. I find the best way for me to build up the enzymes again for dairy was raw cheese because that was a thing that was for me. So raw cheese was really beneficial. And I'm always promoting the farm that I go to, Dutch Meadows Farms. They're amazing. So
Yes.
that's a
Let's
great.
highlight some of these. So there's Dutch Meadows Farms, there's Nourish Cooperative, which is Sarah and Ashley Armstrong.
Oh yes, I
They
haven't gotten
wrote
to see
they
it.
wrote a cookbook for what's his name? I forgot.
Oh, I don't know.
The gentleman you follow who's the carnivore guy, Carnivore MD. They
Oh, yes, Paul Saladino.
Paul Saladino, they actually wrote his cookbook, and so it's a really great cookbook for those who might have issues with grains. But they have great recipes. These are just a lovely, sisters who they have their own smaller ranch, but then they're doing a collective or like a cooperative with all the local. They're super high quality. Like they inspect everything. They make sure that everything is like no jabs, no nothing, right?
Yeah.
No junk in their animals. They make amazing products. Like you can get yak meat, which is really interesting. They have that kind of, they just launched like a new skyr. I don't know that kind of, is that how you say that kind of yogurt? It's a special
Mhm.
kind of Icelandic yogurt, I think, called skyr. They have some pretty cool stuff. Like I love these kind of unique food items that are more
Cool.
ancestral, right? So
Mhm.
that's a good one. There is a person, his name is Amos Miller, but this is what we're bringing this up for, so that people's awareness can be increased around which I think, like, it's hard for me to understand how we can sell like hot Cheetos and all these synthetic and artificially colored and dyed and flavored foods, and that's somehow okay. But raw milk, this Amos Miller, who's amazing, I think he's Amish, right?
Yes, he
He
is. He's
just
an
got
Amish.
rated.
He's right here in Pennsylvania because I checked it out. So he's also by close to Dutch Meadows Farms where I buy from, and it feels like it's just like you said. I know what you're saying, where you're going with this. It's like, how is it possible that raw milk is illegal, but we can sell Doritos? Like it's just not. It makes no sense. This is why our whole system is backwards. Like we think that that's a safe food to feed our children, but we think raw milk is a dangerous food to feed our children. When honestly, those Doritos are gonna just the food dyes, the coloring, the seed oils, all the things in there are just detrimental, and we know that those are harmful. Like we also know that tobacco is harmful. We also know that alcohol is harmful, and these things are legal. And I just wrote a post about how cannabis is, also legal, and that's can be harmful to your health as well, can cause mitochondrial dysfunction right there. And I wrote a post about that, how cannabis is legal, but then also, interestingly enough, right, in homeopathy, if you want to get the homeopathic remedies that are, derived from cannabis plants, there are a few homeopathic remedies, those are illegal. And you know what the crazy part about that is, Heather? Is the cannabis that you can buy that's legal. When I was sick at my worst, I was given a miracle marijuana card to help my health. That was one of their solutions to cover up my symptoms, right? That's fine, but you cannot buy the homeopathic preparations, okay, of cannabis. And the thing is that those homeopathic preparations have zero cannabis actually in them, and they actually can reverse the negative effects of the cannabis, the regular crude form of cannabis that we take. So it's like they're taking away the things from us that can actually help us and leaving us with the things, that can harm us. That doesn't make any sense. And it just frustrates me. So, yeah,
Well, there's not as much money to made on homeopathic remedies as there are on medications, Vanessa, like you.
I know. And
Thing
Doritos
is
probably make
that,
Doritos and soda probably make an enormous amount of
oh
profit.
God, yes, right.
Yeah.
But that it's like cures like in homeopathy, and it's the energetic imprint in the water that the remedy or the original substance, like a cannabis or whatever it is, hemp, is
Yeah.
used to imprint its essence or energetic kind of vibration, if you will, onto the water, the solution that it's immersed in. That's then diluted over like a bazillion times to get right. The strongest remedies are the most dilute, which is such a like a mind f to us, because we're like, oh, that makes sense. So in the Western world, more is better, right? Like, oh, take more magnesium or take, more of this. In the quantum world, it isn't like that. So
No, so
that's why I
cool.
think homeopathy is hard for people to understand until they actually try it and have an open mind and be like, okay, let me see what if this is going to help me. And it's because here's the thing is our bodies, the quantum nature of our bodies as electromagnetic beings, we have a liquid crystal water in our bodies, right? Vanessa, and it's called exclusion zone water. There's a resonance, and
Mhm.
the remedies have a resonance. And so that resonance is impacting our own body's resonance, and it is waking up the immune system. It's like a hello, you can do this, immune system, let's go, right?
Like
Whereas,
a nudge, like a catalyst, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, and so it's amazing because it's also not toxic to us.
Yes.
right? I mean, I love herbs. They're great and they can be used, but you have to know what you're doing as well. I mean, homeopathy, I think, is a vast and depth, profound study as well as herbs are. And it's just a matter of what is it that's going to work for you. Sometimes I think that it's easier on our system if we use the resonance than it is like a homeopathic remedy than it is to use the actual herbal substance, right? Like you're saying with cannabis, like I've worked with many clients who've taken a lot of cannabis. So what do I think about that, Vanessa? Like if you have so much anxiety that you literally can't function, I think if we had to do like a harm reduction model, okay, maybe cannabis would be good for a while, but then you need to get to the deeper root causes of what is going on in your body, your nervous system at the mitochondrial level that's causing you to be so like, in fight or flight mode all the time. It has to be a deeper approach because I do think cannabis is a band-aid. I have no problem with like tobacco and cannabis being used ceremonially in the right setting,
Mm.
like occasionally by people who are the healers. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
ancestrally. Like that's cool. That's their tradition. This whole thing, like psychedelics, even of just like, hey, I'm gonna go, do mushrooms this weekend. It's like, really? What is that about? I'm not judging anyone, but I just am so curious, right? As a closet sociologist, it's like, what is that about? Is this because everyone else is doing it? Is it because it's really helping you? Okay, whatever floats your boat. But I think that we just need to be aware of that these are really powerful substances and you can't just play around with them like it's like, so fun and like a party.
Yeah. And I also think that if the government makes it legal, like cannabis, like they did, is it really for our benefit or for their benefit? That was also my thought. And I honestly think it's most likely for their benefit, not for ours. So
Right.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's very interesting, I mean, I didn't find a benefit of it helping my system when I used it, to attempt to cover up my symptoms, which it did not. So that was
It
my
did not help
experience.
me sleep one iota. It just made my
Yeah,
heart race, and I'm like, "How is this helpful?
no.
How do people,
It
like,
is, it
get
did
any
not
benefit out of this?"
didn't make my pain any better. It didn't make anything better. It was just like, I think it just made me feel worse totally. So yeah, and I'm sure it probably damaged my mitochondria. So that's my thinking on cannabis. But yeah, everybody has to go through their own life experiences and decide what works for them, right? So, like you said, to each his own. So let's get into the season one recap, right? So
Yeah, what was
we
our top podcast for last year, Vanessa?
Yeah, so we're going to go over the top 10 episodes. So, episode 31, The Hidden Truths About Viruses with Jacob Diaz was our top podcast episode. So, I love that episode. It was one of my favorites too. So, I can easily see why it's the top download because a big part of why I wanted to do this podcast is to get people to start questioning, right? Asking questions and doing their own research and thinking deeply, more deeply about these kinds of topics. And that's exactly what this that podcast helped me do. It helps me think deeper about these things, right? So I like that. I like that kind of that challenging my own thinking. So I kind of really enjoyed that. And yeah, it was a great episode. And we'd be happy to have Jacob back on at some point for sure, because he offered to. So we'd love to have him back on sometime for this season too. So
Yeah, I was really kinda surprised by that. I didn't think it would do that that would happen. I thought maybe it would be a little bit, like, lower performing, to be honest, which sounds bad, but because it seems like such highly, highly controversial
it
topic
is.
and almost taboo, right, to even go there. The essence of it, if I just give readers a little, like, like, a little appetizer if they wanna go listen to it, is this huge, huge like battle between this sort of, I don't know how to call it, like traditional modern medical model that there are viruses and there's many, many different kinds and they cause different, like you can have herpes or you can have chickenpox or you can have measles or mumps or and all the things, right? And then there's these terrain and there's another word besides terrain. Anyway, terrain theory or germ theory, right? And their basic premise is that viruses don't exist.
Yeah,
Right?
and it's just the toxins in our environment that are really making us sick, really, and that how the was it polymorphisms, how they more they these whatever they
Oh,
are, I don't
pleomorphism.
Thank you. Pleomorphism. How are they change from, from bacteria to fungus to whatever. I was like, that was really interesting to
Oh,
me.
yes, I forgot about that. That was
That
amazing.
that part was like that part like blew my mind, like literally. But it's
We
like,
should talk more about that or have him talk about that. I want to learn more about that.
yeah, I want to learn more about that too. And also like about the whole resonance. Like people always say, like, that just happened just recently. Somebody I know was like, oh yeah, and I had stomach virus, and then this person had a stomach virus. It's like, but it's the resonance. It's the your body's resonance again that's picking up the same energy is why that happens, not necessarily the germ.
Well,
So
it's going to
it's
be, I think, a long time before there's any kind of shift in our thinking, if indeed what they're saying is the absolute,
yeah.
truth. Their arguments are that there's never been actually like one study that's identified a whatever would be a real virus. So I find it interesting. Like I was reading some comments on Instagram, of course, where do we hang out a lot, right? And Jack Cruz put up something on like, stop sending me stuff about viruses aren't being real, da da da, and that there's no studies and all that kind of stuff. I thought, oh, this is gonna be good, right? So you've got like some pretty strong-minded people in there battling this out, and I can't wait to see what the future holds. Hopefully, no more pandemics, right? But around what will be disclosed or discovered, and
Mm.
who knows where the truth lies, right? Like the more that I sort of read different things online, the more I think I don't really know anything. Who knows what's like true, right? It's kind of like you can fall down so many rabbit holes. It's so
Oh
interesting.
yeah. 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 And it can change over time what you really believe because it's based on your experiences and based on what you learn. So, that's something that's been true for me. So,
Yeah. So stay tuned for more about the whole, right, terrain
yeah.
theory versus germ theory. So what's
Yeah.
our next top performing one, Vanessa?
Episode 18 with Dr. Martin Moore Eid on circadian health. And that is a must listen to episode for you to understand really the science behind why light, especially at night, artificial blue light at night, is really destroying your health, and is, how blocking artificial blue light at night is, cancer prevention. And also he just really gives the great study behind, the eye clock, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, like so many great things. So and it's just so nice to have that science, have that doctor on to really give us that backstory. So I really enjoyed that episode greatly. And yeah, it was a good one.
It was amazing. He's not a quantum person, but he's solid in the circadian science
Yes.
and helping give so much validity, right,
Yes.
to, and well, of course, I mean, in 2017, I need to memorize the names of the gentlemen who won the Nobel Prize for their circadian research. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? But there's all of this research and tons of studies and all this validity, and we're still like it's just kind of barely trickling into the mainstream consciousness or awareness,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But I have found just personally that the only thing that really moved the needle for me, Vanessa, to get out of chronic fatigue, horrible insomnia, all kinds of hormonal issues, worse digestion. My digestion is not perfect, but I had so much early life stuff that kind of set me on a path of like horrible digestion. Um, that the circadian practices really transformed my health and therefore my life. Because I believe that our energy levels, the capacity that we have energetically to be in our lives, is what's going to determine the kind of life we have. And just a little plug to this point. I just launched the Quantum Resilience Community. And in this community, I am going to teach the members how to use circadian biology as the foundation of their health. And then we're stacking on top of that. You can use the homeopathy, we can use how to do quantum nutrition and movement. And also the other piece that I love about having a space like this, which does seem like, oh, this is a lot, but it's our whole, like I'm addressing our whole being, right? Is this connection piece. So we call our podcast the Quantum Connection. It's all about relationship, our relationship to as part of the natural world. We always think of ourselves as outside of it, but like we're part of the natural world, our relationship to nature, my relationship with you, right? Our family system. We have these relationships and connections that we want to be a lot more mindful of, especially the relationship we have with ourselves. And so by using the circadian biology helped me to overcome that chronic fatigue. And it's so interesting, Vanessa, like it literally has changed the nature of my thoughts. Because when your circadian rhythm is optimized, your body literally feels safer and it
Mm.
will reflect in the way that you think. So anyway, this is all the things that I'm going to be guiding and mentoring and offering coaching and, education in this quantum resilience community. And if you go to quantumresiliencecommunity.com, check it out.
Yeah, that sounds like something I'm going to be love to join. That sounds amazing. I mean, it's such a good offer. And truthfully, circadian biology is the only thing and homeopathy. Circadian biology and homeopathy are literally the only two things, that have moved the needle on my health. And I did all the things, and I know you did too, Heather. And I explained that in my episode on this podcast. If you take a listen to it about my health story, like I've done all the things. So yeah, it's really great. So I'm really proud of you for starting that. And I know it's going to help so many amazing people, improve their life so greatly. So it's wonderful.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So the next episode is episode 1, actually, which is our introduction and mission, which I think is a great episode to go listen to, because then you kind of get the gist of, the goals for the podcast. I actually think I want to go back and listen to that and see if we've accomplished our goals. So,
We do need to go back and listen to it. That's part of our homework right now.
yeah, really, we should. Like, did we accomplish our goals and mission for the, season 1? So yeah. And then number 4 is actually episode 32, the hidden truths about hormone harmony, balanced weight, enhanced energy, with Mali Costa, who I am running a group coaching program with. Coming up, the registration for that will close this Friday. So there's only 4 more days to join, but we will talk all about circadian biology and how to improve your hormones, manage your weight with ease, have enhanced energy, have better moods, and just get better sleep, and how to just feel way more optimal and vital. And we will teach you the basics of circadian biology to do this. So still time to join if you'd like to join that.
Oh,
So
yes. And this is such a massive value that you guys are offering as in your pilot program, right? And I'm so, so grateful that you guys are offering this, because how many women are complaining about, cramping, bloating, breast tenderness, cravings, sleep issues? You know what I mean? The hormonal
yes,
imbalance is like rampant, and it is
low
caused
energy,
low
can't sleep at
energy,
night, hot flashes. I mean,
right?
PMS, mood imbalances, like all these things.
Well, but our hormones are basically programmed by our light environment, and that is the key, the connection that people need to know about, and that's what you and Miley are going to be helping women to understand and to implement, how to make basic changes, like simple changes in how you live your everyday life that are totally doable, right? That are
Easy.
going to make a world of difference to your body, because when you're not getting the right light inputs in the mornings, for example, natural light, or you're getting all the artificial light at night, you're really going to imbalance your hormones.
Yeah, yeah. Your cortisol, melatonin will be all out of whack, and they really are master hormones. And that's like, everybody wants to talk about estrogen dominance. Well, what about your cortisol, melatonin patterns? Like, let's go there. So yeah, I'm excited, and I'm excited for these women and men, if they'd like to really make a huge impact on their life. So yeah. All right, let's go to episode 15, or number 5. The top 5 episode was episode 15, all about photobiomodulation, with Kyle from Midwest Red Light Therapy, who I
Oh,
love. Kyle, he's
Kyle,
such a great
Kyle.
guy. He really is. He's awesome. I love the way that I love his whole Instagram, and the way that he runs his company, and he really embodies the lifestyle. It's not like he's just trying to sell a product. He's really embodying the lifestyle. And red light therapy is really a really valuable, well-researched, modality that you can use. I like to get my red light therapy from the sun, but there's not a lot of red light therapy for me to get in the wintertime here. So it's great to have a device like that to support us. And
I
also, I honestly say, Heather, that his glasses are affordable,
yes.
and they're a very good product for blue blocking glasses. So I know Heather and I both have discounts for Midwest Red Light Therapies. You can check out to get his red light devices. You can also check out to get some blue blockers. And you know what? When one of my kids who wear them also breaks them, it's like not a big deal. Do you know, the other day I found a pair, Heather? One had a yellow lens and one had an orange lens. Well, happened
Did one of
here.
your kids do that?
Yes, he did. They did that. My youngest.
You would think that's so funny, Mama.
He thought it was so cool to have one yellow and one orange. I'm like, okay.
Oh no, what that's gonna do to your brain.
No, I fixed him. It
Oh no,
was
I'm just kidding. That's so funny though. They're
it
playing
was
with
so
you.
funny. But yeah, so they're affordable, so I really love them, and they're quality. They're affordable and they're quality. So that's what I love about the glasses that he's promoting. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's a
Yeah,
great
we'll
episode.
link all the discount codes in the show notes so that you have them and all of our favorite things from this last year and the products we love and the companies we personally vetted and that we use ourselves. I think that's really important. Like I would never recommend something that I haven't used myself. So
No, if I have not tested it out, I am definitely not going to recommend it because, I don't know, there's some, you know, I don't know. We'll just leave it at that. All right, so let's go. The next one is number 6, episode 28 is Dr. Catherine Clinton, Tend Your Terrain for Health and Joy. Man, I could talk to her literally for days. Her voice is just like so sing-songy and so beautiful. And the way she spits out the information about quantum biology is really like magical music. I mean,
Mhm.
like she really is. And so it's a great episode to listen to. You'll learn a ton from her, and I just enjoyed her. And she also mentioned coming back to talk about like the emotions
Ooh,
and our
I
so
love
we should
that.
definitely reach out to her again about the emotions and how that affects our terrain, you know. So I loved that topic. So I definitely would love to talk with her
It's
about
like
that.
wrapping yourself in a warm quantum blanket with a nice cup of tea, right?
So
So
cute.
cozy. So
Yeah,
so safe.
I love her. Yeah, she's awesome. And then we also have number 7 is episode 24, Healing with Circadian Biology and Homeopathy with Jessica Louise Kay. Her Instagram handle is circadian.kids, and she lives all in Australia. She's living such a beautiful circadian biology or lifestyle, quantum lifestyle with her family and raising her family that way. And the stories and impacts that she shared about how well they're doing and how well her kids are doing, and she's really trying to promote this with children to get children to live a more quantum circadian biology lifestyle. And she also had tons of homeopathy success stories to share with me because that's the medicine that she's using for her family. They have their own homeopath over there, and that's the only medicine that they use in their household. So it was a great story, a great episode. I really enjoyed Jess a lot. She's a beautiful soul as well to chat with. So if you haven't checked that one out, listen to it. Yeah, it was great.
That's a great one. Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Love
I really enjoyed it.
it.
And then number 8 is episode 7, Sunlight as Medicine. I love that that's on the list because to me, sunlight has been, of course, all the quantum strategies are impactful, but sunlight is probably like, my key. Having UVB sunlight, having that infrared, getting sunlight has been so immensely healing on my journey. So sunlight is a powerful medicine. We just have to know how to use it safely and effectively, by using it in the right sequence and order and preconditioning our skin and all the things that Heather and I teach about. I have some low buy-ins to help you if you want to learn about sunlight as medicine. For only $30 on my website, there's the Get Your Light Right ebook, and it's an ebook and an audio. So I talked to you about it as well. So you'll hear me explain it, and I explained to you how to use sunlight safely and effectively. And yeah, and I also teach you how to use how to get your indoor light environment right. So it's a great way to up level your health just to use that. So
Absolutely. My counterpart to that is Enlightened Mood. If you go to my website, enlightenedmood.com, I have a course and it's for anxiety and depression because guess what? When you don't have a healthy light environment, you're going to muck up your neurotransmitters and hormones and that can easily result in anxiety and depression.
oh
Um,
yeah.
and so I teach the same kind of information in that course, Vanessa. Mhm.
Yeah, I know you do. It's amazing. I've looked at it. It's such a great course.
Thank you.
I
Thank
also had, not that I'm, saying another one, but you also have my Rebalance Your Rhythms course, which goes over the in-depth detail of all of this stuff. That's a little bit more of an expensive one, but the one for $30, it's like, you just get the information for so cheap. It's like, I don't know, it's like such an easy thing to know to have this information. So yeah.
like
Anyway,
people won't really get it until they actually try on a leap of faith. It's like,
yeah.
okay, well, let me actually see what happens when I live more in tune with with the natural light and dark cycles.
Yeah.
What will happen in my body? So once people get a taste of how much better they can feel, I think then they sort of like dive in because they're like, oh my God, I want more of this because I
It's like
start to feel so much better.
It's like, how did I not know? I think that was my reaction. Like, I was
Me
like, how
too.
did I not know this? Like,
Yeah.
so yeah. It's hidden from us, unfortunately. Okay, number 9 is episode 2, defining circadian rhythms and quantum biology, which is a really great episode also because it just helps you understand the basics of circadian rhythm, what is quantum biology, so it really gives a good overview, I would say. So yeah, that's a great one.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then number 10 is episode 16, Know Better, Do Better, Vanessa's personal health story. So my own
I
personal.
love it. I love that you're on the top 10.
That's cool. Yeah, it is cool. That was a tough episode for me to record because, Heather knows a lot more about my story too, but it's not easy to share that and be so vulnerable. And, I really shared the exact, what the depth of really what happened to me. So if you interested to know why I am, a homeopath and why I, teach others to use circadian biology, that episode will really explain that. It's really the premise of why I do what I do because I went through my own really hell. I
But when we
mean,
say health crisis, like that doesn't even do justice to what happened to you. You
yeah.
know, the depths of the despair and the just physical kind of breakdown, which of course is going to also affect your emotional, mental, right, sphere. This is very serious stuff. And that's why, you are in this place now is that you had to find a way to dig yourself out of that, right? And you were open and you said, what is it? What can I do? And then here you are now, right? Look at you now. It's quite a transformation, Vanessa, because when I hear about how bad it was for you with your body, basically not working, and then what you've done to turn that around now, and that's why you're here, that's why I'm here. And it's this, I hope that our listeners that you guys are hearing what can happen for you too, even if you're not like in dire straits, how much better your life can be. That how much more resilient you can feel, how much more calm you can feel, how much more energy you can have. Just improving your sleep alone will do wonders for your life and extend your life and prevent chronic illness and disease for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it was if you listen to the episode, you'll understand, what Heather, I share a little bit about how bad things really got. But the thing is that I want to share is that you can improve. You don't have to be that way. It can get better. And you have to keep searching sometimes to finding what works for you. I mean, I had gone through all the things until somebody finally mentioned to me about light. Oh, hello. I had got all the, all the things too, because then somebody mentioned to me about homeopathy. I mean, it takes a long time, but I feel like I honestly do think everything is meant to happen for a reason. I do believe that in my heart. And I do believe that, we come to these paths for a reason. And, homeopathy, circadian biology, all these things were placed, into my field for a reason. And I was meant to resonate with them and say, hey, I want to learn more about that, you know? And then I buy like a million books and start reading.
You and me both.
Just organizing mine the other day, Heather. I was like, oh my God, I have so many books.
And I
And
think I need to
I
make
just
a
ordered another
catalog. I
one.
make like a library. What do we call those things in the
I
past? Like
need
a
some
library.
bookshelves right here in my
Yeah.
office area. Like I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna get on that. But I just ordered a new book yesterday, The
Well,
UV
people are gonna think
Advantage.
like, why don't you just have them all on like e-readers? Because I want paper and I don't want to be online all the
Oh,
time.
yes. Let's talk about that for just a quick second, because I used to read a ton of books on my iPhone right before bed. And I actually used to put it on the black because the white, I did notice the white was so bad. Like, so you give it, how you put it on the black, still bad for you. But, and it was not on airplane mode.
Oh,
I didn't know any better, but
like
yeah,
killing
I love,
yourself.
I love paper books, and I like to write
That
in
one.
them.
What's that book?
Oh, this is such a good one.
Oh, I like that. That's a good one. Yeah.
Did you read this one?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, this is Homeopathy Beyond Flat Earth Medicine by Timothy Dooley. He's an MD. Now, this one, if you don't know, zero about homeopathy, it's actually a really great read. This was actually good that I pulled this one up. This is a perfect introductory book to homeopathy.
Yep, start there.
Yeah, yeah, start there with this one. But I love to mark it up and put little stars next to things and just personalize it. I write notes. You'll see a lot of times Oh no, this is my son was writing something, but normally I write something, like I write little notes to myself about things. I don't know. It just feels so much more cozy, a real book, right? And it's not giving me that artificial light at night, and that.
Well, it's an aesthetic experience, right? It's a sensory experience. You're seeing it, you're holding it, you're everything. And so if everything's digital, like our books, our money, which is I hear where we're going, and they're gonna 3D, they're now 3D printing food. Like I'm not there for
Oh
that.
no.
I'm
How
not
about you
down
just,
with all
scan your palm, right? Have
yeah.
you heard about this? Scan your palm
The
and
brain
pay?
implants, the palm
Oh,
chips, like I'm not down with any of that. And so over my dead body, right? That's where I'm at with that. So
me
buy the
too.
books, people. And yeah, we can find renewable resources to make the books. So I'm not really worried about that.
No, me neither. Yeah, so I just want to really thank the community, for
Yeah.
joining us for season one. And we hope you're here for many, many more seasons to come. But season two, we have some really great people coming on this year. Should we spill some beans or no?
Just a couple. Like, let's give them a couple of tastes. Like,
Carrie Bennett is coming on, which I'm so
oh, Lordy, the
yeah,
quantum queen.
yeah, Sarah Kleiner is going to be joining us.
Other
We
queen.
also have Dr. Stephen Hussey is coming on, which I'm so excited to talk to him about heart health and cholesterol and bust those myths big time. Who else? I'm trying to think. Oh, we have oh man, I can't think of the names. I'm
What do they
losing.
do?
Hmm?
What do they do?
The skincare. We have Valerie coming on.
Oh, Valerie Hines. Yeah.
Hines, thank you. Valerie Hines is coming on to do quantum skincare. That is going to be such a great episode. So we have some good, exciting
I'd
guests
like to
coming.
invite Lauren Bradley too for the skin and holistic, right? So,
Oh, let's do it.
Lauren
Let's do it.
Bradley. And then I would like to invite, I'm all like, let's just make a list right now. Roland McCready of the Heart Math Institute. We got to get Roland
Nice.
McCready on here if he does podcasts. So we are looking for you guys, our listeners, for the most depth, right? And the people who really are either pioneers or legends and or are really well versed in their field and who shine a light too, who just are really good souls, because that's what we're all about.
Yeah. And we also want to hear from you too. Like, you know what? Like, send us an email if there's somebody you want
Absolutely.
us to interview. There's a topic that you're like, oh, can you cover fasting? Oh, can you cover this nutrition thing? Can you cover this? Can you cover that? Like, send us a topic. Like, we'd be happy to take that into consideration and see, if it's something that we can do. Um, or if it's a person that you want us to interview that you're like, oh man, I saw this and I want to know more about it, send us that info. I'm really open to
Do
that
we have
because
our emails in our show notes? I don't know if we do. We need to add those.
oh, we'll add them. I'll make sure we add them today. Mine is contact@brightlightwellnesscoach.com. Yeah, we can
And I'm
add that.
Heather at enlightenedmood.com.
Yeah, awesome. So yeah, this has been so much fun. We had such a great season one. I'm so excited for season two. I love it. I love it. It was really fun to go over the top 10 episodes. And I have so many more favorites. Like, so just check them all out, guys, because they're all good.
Well, we're kind of biased, so they're all really good. So,
Yes, definitely. They're all really good.
Well, I'm looking forward to this year with you, Vanessa. So thank you so much for everything and being my pod half.
Yes, thank you, Heather. Same. I feel the same. I really love doing this with you, honestly. It's like I really look forward to it every week. I actually re-listen to the episodes myself. I'm like, oh man, like I always like glean for me information from even from you or from guests, something like Dr. Stephanie Sennett or Jacob Diaz. I'm gonna listen to that again because I'm gonna glean the information and learn again. So I love it. I love interviewing people in this space and connecting and having this community. It's been great. So yeah.
Thank you. And let's add melanin. We have to have a melanin person on. Okay, I'm
Oh
done.
my God, we're gonna have Kelly Croft back on to talk about melanin. She's so great at it. Gotta
Gotta
have
get
that.
that melanin in there.
Yeah, especially coming up.
All
Yeah.
right, you guys, thanks for tuning in. Check out the show notes, check out the products, check out our courses, our community, check out everything. Send us an email about what you want to hear this year.
Yes.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a great day. Bye.